Lantern's Aura presents Aslintha, Episode 7, Rowen.
Borivik, an excellent show tonight.
Rowen. We both know I didn't ask you here for critique on the show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you started adventuring. I want to know everything.
What? Adventuring? No, it's just archaeology.
Right, and I don't need help getting onto the stage every night.
Look, it's complicated.
That's what your father said before he went to the pyramid. Look, you don't have to tell me everything. Just please, tell me what happens when it's over. I just need some new stories to tell, and I have a feeling that yours is going to be great.
I guess I should probably tell you everything so far, just in case. May I sit? This'll take a while. Right, where should I start? Start of the quest? The offer of the job? My dad leaving?
Start at the beginning.
The day I found out about the job, I was...
No. The very beginning.
Oh. This might take a while then, are you sure? Right. Well, I guess I should start by explaining what my dad does. Would talk about my mother, but I don't really know much about her. Just a few stories my dad told me. My dad is one of the leaders of Aslintha's excavation commission. They go around to different historical sites to examine old technologies and magical artifacts and see if any of it can be used to learn or help the progress of the city in any sort of way. You know, long lost spells, ancient texts, and that sort of stuff. I grew up learning a lot of the history of the city and traveling a lot. But my dad didn't take me anytime he thought the site might be too dangerous. So, because of that, I spent a lot of time in town. And also here in the tavern. Helping Baymol, wandering around with Zayla, and that's basically how my life went for years. Learning from my dad and being raised by the locals when he wasn't around. Well, that's how my life was outside of the incident. When Zayla and I were kids. When I was about 10 or 11, Zayla and I were in the Great Expedition when Xenia, one of the archaeologists in my father's group, came yelling in that they needed help on site. Baymol dragged us into Zayla's room before we could hear the rest of what happened, but we could tell it was something bad. So, after Baymol left us, Zayla and I decided that we were going to help. We snuck into the hallway and climbed out the first window we saw. We didn't really have a plan, or even know what the situation was, but I wasn't going to let my dad be stuck in danger. And Zayla insisted that somebody come with me so I don't do anything stupid. At the time we were both too small to ride a fully grown horse or camel, or anything like that. So we might have snuck down to the market and borrowed a flying carpet from Ezekiel's shop. And started going towards the site. Took us a few hours to get there, between our lack of experience and the fact that we were going off the memory of the one time I saw the outside of the tomb when they first uncovered it. When we finally gracefully landed in the camp, most of the people were gone. We managed to find cover before the few that were still there could find us. Zayla and I listened to some of the people nearby and found out the entrance was resealed shortly after most of the camp's crew went inside. They couldn't get it to reopen because the only people who know how to open it were trapped on the other side. After panicking for a moment, I remembered the one lesson my dad taught me. Even if the entrance was sealed, there would still be an opening nearby to let air in case of a cave-in during the building process. Might have only been a few feet wide, but just because an adult couldn't fit in it, didn't mean Zayla and I couldn't fit. So, after a bit of discussion, we started looking for that opening. It took us much longer than I would have liked. And the only reason we found it was because Zayla literally fell down into it. So, without taking the time to make a plan or alert an adult in the camp like we should have, I jumped after her. Once we were down there, it really started to go wrong. I'd seen traps, sure, but that was after they were deactivated by my dad's team. I think the only reason we survived was because of how small we were. People who built the tomb probably counted on the robbers being fully grown adult humans, and that was most of the population in the desert in the early days of the city. There was more than one time a dart flew over our heads as we tried to find the people we came here to rescue. But before long it was clear we were the ones that needed a rescue. Unfortunately, no one we knew was there. I don't know how long we were down there, but eventually we found a giant room with a single coffin inside against a wall, directly beneath a painting of the Eye of Korgon, a sign that it had been one of his most trusted allies buried here. Next to it was a doorway, and hopefully a way out where we could get more qualified help. I voiced as much, and Zayla decided to make a break for the door. Not that I blame her, but as she did, the coffin opened, revealing a skeleton dressed in dark robes, which started to glow before it turned towards her. I don't know what would have happened if my dad's team hadn't shown up at that moment. They burst into the room behind me. Something flew out of the skeleton, broke down the door Zayla was running towards, clearing the way outside for us. Once we were outside, we were reprimanded by my dad, who took us back to town after giving me a lecture about going to places ill-prepared. Then, he didn't take me to any more sites till I was 13, making me stay in the Great Expedition where Baemol had an enchantment placed on me, so I couldn't leave the town borders without an adult for a few years. Things eventually went back to normal, until about a month ago. One of the Knights of Orion came to my dad's house, saying he had a job and they needed his team to help with it. They set out for the tower in the market district to be given the information about the job. But before coming back through town again on their way to the pyramid, unfortunately, they haven't been seen since then. About a week ago, I was given a summon by the same priest, telling me to go to the High Troll Tavern. And then I started on the job they gave me, which led me here.
And now you're going to try to save your father again.
I mean, somebody had to.
And what about the other people with you?
What about them?
If you have to choose between saving them or your father, what are you going to choose?
Aslintha is a podcast created by Lantern Zora. Today's episode was written and directed by Sean McGarry and performed and produced by Lyon, Alkahe, and Sean McGarry. Today's episode was edited by Karma. The Aslintha theme song was written by Andrew Bianchi. To comment on episodes, make donations, view merchandise and social links, visit lanternzora.com. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram at lanternzora. To contact us, email us at lanternzora@gmail.com. Episode 8 will be airing Friday, November 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for listening.